Greetings, and of course, I welcome you to this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining today. This is certainly one in which, as Guyanese, we ought to be delighted to know that we have got the freedom, according to our law, to express ourselves. And that is exactly what shall be done. Nonetheless, those freedoms are being infringed upon in many instances by a most corrupt and criminal clan called the PPP. Nonetheless, there is cause for me to speak to a matter that I think be of critical importance. So as you join the broadcast today, please indicate to me whether you hear me clearly and you see me clearly. And I don't normally wait for anybody to join and all of that kind of stuff, but I may have to make an exception today since um, many of you have got quite a vested interest in this matter. Thank you for joining. You may wonder why I'm not saying or getting with a flair of emancipation, because we're not emancipated. If you're emancipated, meaning that you're free, then no one interferes in that which you do, because freedom speaks to the absence of influence or control. For as long as there is influence and control over any nation or any people, you are not free. You are free to do as much as you allow, and that is not freedom. And what I'm grateful for is that I have the ability and the right to have independence of thought. When the People's Movement would have been formed or founded about 5 years ago, you'd have heard me say that we are independent thinkers. And that was not formed for political movement. It was formed because Guyanese have the ability and the power to move this country forward. Thankfully, we now are part of a coalition called Forward Guyana Movement, which also has the ability and the understanding, the ideology, the paradigm, the way of thinking, that Guyanese have the power and the ability to move our country forward. Hence, Forward Guyana Movement. Intrinsic in that, deeply embedded in that, is the power of independent thinkers. No one thinks for me. No one should think for you. What we should do is unite our thoughts, present them in reference to, because it's not going to be thinking if you speak, if you say it, but you present our thoughts, and in those healthy discussions, those fruitful discussions should be born policies that are framed towards us being a different or having a different Guyana, a different experience, an experience where Guyanese can enjoy this nation and the wealth that abounds herein. While you're here, please ensure that you share the broadcast with someone. You can tag them, you can, whatever you do, I don't know what you'll do, but whatever you do that works, let them know that I'm here. Because it's imperative on this day that I speak to a very important, critical, and vital position. You would or should note that my speaking to this shall be a one off, one time, one moment in my hectic schedule would be taken to speak to this matter. Hereafter, I shall not address it, because I would like to believe that the people to whom I speak are intelligent enough and they have a very fair handle of English language, and they're able to comprehend clearly what is said. Therefore, there is no one of any ilk, of any kind, who would be able to goad me or put me into any spat back and forth, to put it simply, with anybody. I have been receiving multiple, and I've also observed multiple comments in reference to recent news release by, I think it would have been Gordon mostly. And this sort of caused some alarm, expectedly so. And I must say that I'm so grateful that it has caused that alarm. And that would stem from this article, where it says political parties commit to supporting rights of LGBT community. And Gordon Mosley mentioned that, a news source mentioned, I should say, that five of the six parties that are involved in the elections have agreed to repeal buggery laws. And persons, again, I say I'm thankful that at least you have some confidence reposed in me that I will stand based on whatever conviction I have. And I have stood for years based on principle, not as a prime ministerial candidate, but as Guyanese who had concern about certain aspects of what is called the homosexual agenda. That concern would have caused me, as a preacher, as an apostle of the Lord Yeshua, would have caused me to have cause to march on streets of this country to announce to people that we are concerned because the law of our country prohibits a particular behavior. In this case, we're speaking to the homosexual conduct. The law, not the church, not the mosque, not the temple, the law. And I'll speak to that as well, because I know some people, of course, in an effort to defend certain lifestyles or defend certain positions, they nitpick and try to have an opportunity to say, well, at least I found you wrong in this area. And I'll speak to that. Actually, I should do so now. When it is said that the Constitution does not support homosexuality, I saw two thus far said, no, but the Constitution doesn't state that. So let me help you if I can. Within the Constitution, it is clearly stated that there are certain laws that were existing under the United Kingdom or British rule. And those laws shall be retained. Now, I'm trying to be or speak as politely as possible this morning. But how, man? How? If your constitution states that certain laws shall be retained, and for decades, those laws, in this specific case, we're speaking to homosexuality, the law has been retained. Does the Constitution therefore speak against homosexuality? Or does the law, which will be found in the Criminal Offences Act, Section 8, Article 352 through 354, am I to believe that for decades in our nation, with Anil Nandlal, all of those attorneys general, are you telling me that they all missed that the Constitution is being contravened? Are you telling me that all of these attorneys, all of them have missed that there's nothing in the Constitution, according to what you all argue, that speaks against homosexual behavior? And as a result of that, it should be legal. Is that what you're saying? when the Constitution states plainly that laws or some of the laws, unless they are repealed, they shall remain laws of Guyana. It means, therefore, that the Constitution upholds or does not prohibit the application of the Criminal Offences Act in relation to burglary. That's what it's telling. Now, there is an ill in our society, and I'll show this again to show you what the ill is. And I'm never afraid to speak to it, so I will. These are elections period. This is the election period. And you would see here that news source states political parties commit to supporting rights of LGBT community. How did this discussion arise? It arose out of a manifesto that SASAD, Society Against Sexual Orientation Discrimination, would have published. And this manifesto has within it certain demands. Those demands were presented to political parties and movements to say these are the things that we demand. Forward Ghana movement was represented by a chairman. Our chairman is Mr. Darwin Bess. Newsroom carried what Mr. Darwin Bess said. Interestingly, News Source did not. The chairman said, as is reported, that his personal view, and he made it clear even at that forum, that his personal view is that this should not be considered criminal. I'm grateful. Guyanese, you should, as you consider these election decisions you have to make as to whom you would vote, if you should, hear me carefully. Any political movement where you have the leaders and membership, whatever you want to classify it as, having the freedom to express their personal views without being met with vitriol or bad words spoken, attacks, and you being thrown out of the party, that's a good thing. Because in Forward Ghana movement, you want to show you a different Guyana, a different political culture. Not like the PPP, where if parrot says something, everybody has to be a parrot. We are a movement of eagles, not parrots. So we don't just echo things we hear. You have the right to express how you feel, even at the form of leadership. And I'm grateful that Mr. Darwin Bess made it clear at that forum that it is his personal view that they should not be criminalized. And he, as a Guyanese, is entitled to that view. Nonetheless, he also said that he does not speak for Forward Ghana movement. He spoke as an individual with the right to do so. He said there should be consultation with the religious community, with the wider population, and through that, if anybody wants to repeal the law, then let's use that avenue to do so, which we consider essentially consultation referendum. How could News Source then present something that eliminates that most critical point and says that we are in, and then say that we are in support? All of Forward Ghana movement is in support of repealing burglary laws. I find that to be quite unfortunate. And probably there will be some subsequent article or follow-up article to clarify what Mr. Bess would have said. We are a movement, not of parrots. So you would not have Barrett Jagdeo's style here over here, where when he says something, the sky is purple. Oh yes, the sky is purple, the sky is purple. No, that does not happen in the Forward Ghana movement. Every member, every leader, everyone who is even not a member, every Guyanese has a right to be heard. We are a movement of eagles. We soar above that which or where parrots can go. as an eagle. Our best has the right to say how he feels, and he did that. But he also said, which was the responsible thing, that this is my personal view, said he, and it is not the view of Forgana movement, since there was not a consensus, there was not a forum held to have discussions on this matter. That's fair. A newsroom, I commend you, which I normally don't, but I commend you since you did what is right. You stated plainly what Mr. Best said, that it is his personal view, and he believes that there should be consultation among the religious groups in reference to the civic societies and civic society individuals across the nation. In other words, he's saying, take it to the people. Now, I was interviewed on 2 occasions thus far, and expectedly so, the matter was raised because I'm known as the face of one who is against this behavior. I have no issue. I have no qualm because it is said by one and many that I should not serve as prime minister candidate or as a prime minister of this country if elected because I'm against homosexuality. Now, today is called Emancipation Day. It's a day when they said that the Africans were deemed to be free. I submit to you that in all of Africa, as far as my last check, it could be, you could check it, no problem, and tell me where I went wrong. But in all of Africa, we have maybe just one nation, South Africa, that endorses or supports homosexuality. When Barack Obama tried to go to Africa, which he did, and convince leaders to support this behavior, they reminded Obama that this is not within our culture. Africans are not known for this, and he will not seek to infuse within our culture that which was not present. That's independent thinking. As an African descendant, as I see myself as a Hebrew, as a matter of fact, but you could say it's African. I have not subscribed to this behavior. It is my right as an individual to say that, whether I'm prime minister, president, janitor, weeder, headmaster, bank manager, teller, bus driver, taxi driver, it doesn't matter what role I play in this country. I have the right to tell you how I feel. You also have the right, if you're homosexual, to tell me that you don't agree with me. That is what Forgana movement fosters. We engender or we encourage differences of opinions, and we expect that there would be some level of intelligence applied, where we say, for the best of Guyana and for what's best for our nation, let us move to whatever means we have to, whichever machinery has to be employed and utilized to ensure that we have what is called a favorable outcome, even in reference to disagreements. No homosexual, no bisexual, no any sexual is going to seek to remove from me or any Guyanese the right to express how we feel. If you say that you championing the cause for freedom of expression, you do not infringe on mine. Even if I am to be serving as a prime minister, and I'm monitoring your comments. That's what I'm looking on every so often, okay? Because I need to see what you're saying. So I'm not reading, I'm not distracted. I'm just trying to see what some of you are saying so I can respond to it. If I serve as prime minister of this country, I am a public servant. I'm not like others who believe that they're little demigods and they're entitled to all this lofty treatment. I'm a public servant. I would be if I were to serve in that capacity. I would not be any leader of Guyana who must be treated with such high regard that you do not see me as a servant of yours. I am paid or would be paid by you, the taxpayers. We were employed by you. We would be employed by the people of this nation to serve you as representatives. As a result of that, I would not have any legal right to deny any Guyanese their civic rights, their human rights, and their rights to be treated humanely in reference to being Guyanese. I have said this. Now, what has happened probably is that those of the homosexual persuasion may want me to engage in some degree of arguments and debates that are filled with aggression, probably maybe a cuss down, as Barrett does, but you wouldn't get it from me. Because what I'm able to do, much to your chagrin and to your pain probably, is to control that which I say and to control my mannerism under any circumstance. So if I'm angry, it's because I have controlled anger. You cannot get me at any time to engage you in a manner beyond that which I should. And may I also inform you that I will invite you all to have any debate with me. Don't worry anybody else. Me. At any forum. I'll pay for the venue. I'll pay for your refreshments. I'll pay for whatever you want. And you all come and have a conversation with me. Public, stream it live. Let's have this conversation. Because I'm telling you that I do not support your behavior. It is my right to say so. Now, I would expect you to say to me that you don't support what I've said. That is what creates a society in which Guyanese can be free to express themselves and still be free to be called Guyanese and enjoy all of the benefits, all of the rights that are enshrined in law. If your conduct is lawful, then you'll be treated as a law-abiding citizen. If your conduct is unlawful, you should be treated as one who's broken the law. That is what applies to me, what applies to all Guyanese, including you. No Guyanese is above the law, although if finally behaves the way he is. So let's get that clear, please. Now, can you imagine that the chairman of Ford Ghana movement doesn't share my view, but we are sitting at the same forum? We're brothers. Can you imagine that? We are brothers, and we can have this discussion, and it can be a healthy discussion. And you don't see him saying that he resigned because we have a different view. You don't see me saying I resign because I have a different view. No. That is not how we will function. No human being will tell me what I have to accept. Y'all don't do that. You saw when Frank Anthony told me and Irfan that I have to take vaccine. You remember that? Oh, you're not forcing, but if you don't take it, you can't go to the bank to get your money. You cannot go to certain supermarkets. You cannot get your passport unless you take a PCR test, costs $25,000 when the passport costs $4,000. And I said to them, but I wouldn't. Sorry, right. I said, no. You would not. You cannot tell me what I have to take into my body. None of you can tell me anything as a grown man what I have to do. And you saw that out of that, I stood at the Mackenzie market alone, saying to Guyana that when Irfan Ali said that whoever doesn't take the vaccine, what you call the vaccine, what he called the vaccine, you're worse than the virus itself. I said your son didn't have one. So what is he? You're not getting me to be some weak man. I do not represent weakness. And to those of you homosexuals, let me speak to you as a man to men. Do not ever present yourself as being weak. You're not vulnerable people. What is a vulnerable man? You're a man. And what's critical in this discussion that we're having, and I hope it's a healthy one, is that you should be able to understand that as men, you represent what is strong. You are biologically stronger than females. Now, you know I'm science-based, so let's not argue with that. It's a fact. We have more testosterone than women, which makes us physically stronger. We deem to be more emotionally, I don't want to use certain words, but more emotionally, we are stronger even emotionally. Whereby we handle burdens better than women do in many cases. I'm not speaking to selective incidents, please. All right? So, so I see somebody says here the article says that Darren Best said his party supports repealing of the legislation. No, the article, no, it doesn't say that. Darren Best would not have said it because I inquired and I read what the article said, and it states that he said it's his personal view. There was not now if there's not been consensus, if he'd not had meetings to discuss this, then there is no way that Darren Best would have said that his party supports it, unless there is some misrepresentation of what he said. But going beyond that, because for Ghana movement will definitely issue a statement that clarifies our position. And that position is quite clear that every Guyanese has the right to function in our society as Guyanese within the ambit of law. If any Guyanese, it doesn't have to be homosexuals alone, if people who peddle cocaine, if they feel they're being treated unjustly, they also have the right. They have the right to approach the court to say we feel as if our rights are being violated, and they can demand through their representatives a referendum to be held to make the peddling of cocaine legal. Every Ghanaian has the right to do that. Every Ghanaian has the right to do it, including homosexuals. They have the right. Now the question is whether I would support or other representatives who elected would support it. That's where the question comes in. The question is whether Guyanese would support it. That's where we have the cause for people in our nation to approach their representatives for referendum. And referendum is not referendum. Referendum speaks to a vote taken by the population on a particular matter. And you get their view on that matter. And in that case, we can reform or make application reference to the law, to changing of that law. Take it to the people. Today being Emancipation Day. As Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. That's the problem. We have got, and I want to speak to this right now, we've got a political culture that is deceptive and dangerous. And that is why people say that politics is a dirty game. Okay? The reason I personally say that politics is a dirty game is because of what politicians do to y'all. So let me tell you what some of you expect to happen. The SASAD called the forum, a town hall kind of setting. And at that forum, they will ask political leaders certain questions. Or they would have asked. The questions asked, depending on how the response is framed and presented, will then play into what I spoke to you for years about. There's a book that is called After the Ball, written by Marshall Kirk and Erastus Peel. That's a pseudonym. It wasn't the correct name. And these two authors, the book is titled After the Ball: How to Essentially Convert or Change or Win America Over to the Homosexual Agenda. This book is being played out before your eyes, are the contents there. And I shared this with you for years while I was on television and so on. In the book called After the Ball, you know what they said? That in order to get the agenda of homosexuality to be accepted or to neutralize your enemies, what you do is you use the media. That's the first thing they spoke to as well. Use the media. And in the media, you're going to present anybody who opposes you in the worst way possible, which is why you see that they're doing this on social media. Nigel London shouldn't be prime minister. Nigel London is this. I'm that. I'm dangerous. Nigel London is a bad person. We get to what Sheriff News Agency, whatever they spoke about, that I said homosexuals should be killed. Now, I know there are many side effects to certain things, and maybe they're kicking in, but I'll speak to that. Now, in this book called After the Ball, They're saying that if you only, as a homosexual, get the media to present anybody who opposes you as a terrible person, you smear them, you speak that they're hateful, they're evil, they're dangerous, they hate people. They said, first of all, even the politicians, you know them already, will cower, they'll bow because they don't want to look bad, they want to be elected. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. So politicians will go into that room and speak against their consciences because they want to be elected. Obama did it. Trump did it the first time, and now Trump realized that this isn't working for me. So Trump came back and Trump said, no, if you are a male, you are not going to participate in female sports. Why doesn't Sassett say that Trump, write to the US Embassy and say that Trump should not be president? Because Trump is anti-homosexual. Trump says nothing, no teachers. Trump said that no teacher will teach any child that you can be born male and say you're a woman. If you do that, he said, you'll be dealt with. Why didn't they write the US Embassy to say that they're concerned about Trump's position? Or they should. I don't know if they did, but I'm saying maybe you could publish that or have it replayed if it's some video format. Have it replayed for all of Ghana to see in the US Embassy to see how you feel. The Carter Center would have, in their 22 recommendations, suggested that in our electoral process there should be more homosexuals, and I don't understand what that's supposed to mean. I don't know if you're supposed to check to see somebody's sexual preference as a prerequisite to them functioning in elections. Forward Ghana movement has never asked anyone, what is your sexual orientation? Do you like men? Do you like women? What do you like? Who'd like to have sex with? What does it have to do with elections? As an independent thinker, you cannot get me to speak in a manner that is deceptive just so that I can gain your support. That is why we have what is called an election process. And in these electoral processes, you have the right to choose who you believe are good enough to serve you. Who are the people? Which party is good enough to represent my cause? Then that's why you have 6 to choose from. It's called options. So if you do not believe, that the PNC isn't pushing your agenda, then don't vote for the PNC. If you don't believe that Forward Ghana movement isn't pushing your agenda, do not vote for Forward Ghana movement. It's that simple. You have a choice. But if you say with any modicum of intelligence that you can work with someone who's honest, you can work with an individual who believes, or a group of individuals, in truly freedom of speech, where even the chairman can say what he feels, and it's not met with an argument or fight. If you say that we could deal with somebody who, or a group of people who are saying to us that you have the right to be Guyanese, you have the right to be treated as though you're Guyanese. Every right the Guyanese have, you are entitled to them. You're not going to say, well, you cannot be a teacher, you cannot be a doctor, you cannot be prime minister, you cannot be president because you have a particular ethnicity or anything of that nature. We don't say to doctors, do not take care of homosexuals. Have we ever said that? Because doctors are public servants. In like manner, the prime minister, which if I'm elected to be so, cannot tell a doctor not to take care of homosexual. And I cannot say I would not meet a homosexual in my office because the person wants a meeting. So where is the discrimination? Where is the discriminatory conduct about which you speak? Now, to discriminate means to distinguish between 2 things as well. And I can distinguish between male and female. So what politicians will do to you all is that they'll attend your forums and they'll say what sounds good, so that the media can report that the politicians said that they are in favor of repealing buggery laws and they're in favor of all this. And I want to ask you all a question. Susan Rodriguez from the PPP, Susan, who there was an invitation that of course was shared and went viral, an invitation to a wedding where Susan was marrying a woman. Susan is a minister in this country, in the PPP. Barrett says he's against same-sex marriage, but you marry a woman according to what the invitation showed. Susan sat at that same meeting with Doran Bess, Ubraj Narayan, Odessa Primus, Beverly from AFC. Sat right there. And Susan could not tell y'all that for 28 years, she couldn't say to you that the PPP did these 10 things to show how much they're in favor of SASAD and they're in favor of this agenda. Forward Ghana Movement has never served in any public capacity. We've never served in reference to any public office. I'm not saying to Forward Ghana Movement's presidential candidate, I'm saying to us as a movement. What did the PPP do? Now, Susan Rodriguez, you are a minister in the PPP. Tell us for the past 5 years what y'all did for those people, for that group. But now you come after 5 years to say, oh, we're going to have to strengthen laws and strengthen this. You are being deceptive. Why didn't you do it for 5 years? Anil Nandlal, Anil stood in the House Assembly and said that they toiled, and this with toil and sweat, they were able to frame this law that you could buy dildo. Anil says it's now legal to buy sex toys. Why didn't he sweat and toil to legalize your behavior? But you want to come to Forward Ghana Movement? No, speak to Susan, because she is in a position where her party had 28 years to get it done. Did they? Further to that, how asinine can it be, or can anyone be, to see that Susan is sitting as a minister? So if you say that there should be laws and there should be stringent measures to ensure that there's non-discrimination of LG, there's not transgender. There'll never be transgender in my book. So you could hate me all you want, it would not be said from my mouth. No one can change their gender. X, Y, and XX remain what it is. How can you tell me that Susan Rodriguez is a minister driving our Land Cruiser Prado? They drive her around and so on. She's driven around the place. Gets $1.7 or $8 million a month of our money. She sits in reference to the hierarchy, in reference to strata of leadership. She is, you have the president, prime minister, vice presidents, ministers. Susan is at the 4th level, the 4th tier of rank in our country. Are you being discriminated against? How you become a minister if Ghana is so discriminatory? How do you become a minister, Susan? You are serving as a minister who's homosexual, and you're talking about there should be laws to prevent discrimination. You are a minister, which means that Irfan could even appoint you to be a vice president. So this nonsense that's being peddled, that there should be anything, doesn't make sense to me as an individual. I'm here, like Doran Bess is saying, I'm speaking to you at this part of this conversation. I'm speaking to you as an individual. It cannot make sense to me, a rational, independent thinker. How can it make sense that somebody who serves as a minister, who's openly homosexual, you're telling me that this person is being discriminated against, yet she's a minister? Yet she's being paid one of the highest salaries in the public service? Yet she's being afforded all kinds of benefits? Yet she's married to a woman, but she didn't deny it. And Barrett, her leader, says that same-sex marriage would not be accept it, and I agree with him 100%. I don't agree with Barrett, but I agree with him here. But you telling me that in the PPP you're allowed to do that? So where's the discrimination? Where is the discrimination if you can have a minister? And you know there's another one. He just hasn't said what Susan said. We know there are more of them. So where is the discrimination? There are doctors who are homosexual in this country. There are nurses who are homosexual. There are policemen who are homosexual. Maybe high-ranking police officials too who are homosexual. There are bank employees who are homosexual. Where is the discrimination? So let me just help you with this. And help me with this, please. Can you kindly present me with 5 cases? I've asked for this for over 5 years. For more than 5 years, I've been asking y'all. Present me with 5 police reports. I don't want no hearsay. 5 reports or statements made to the police. 5 cases in the court where homosexuals were discriminated against because of their orientation. Present them to me. Give me cause to say that there is, among a population of 10,000 homosexuals, at least 5 of y'all were refused a job or you got fired because you're homosexual. We have a case in this country right now where a man who worked for GBTI has been fired because he supports the WIN party. Imagine that because he supports Muhammad, he's fired. Not because he's homosexual. So the homosexual could be employed. But the man who supports WIN is fired. And y'all talk about discrimination. And you want me to engage in a conversation about discrimination? In all seriousness, with what's happening in our country today, you want me to engage you consistently in what doesn't exist? I am speaking to you as a man. Maybe you should understand how men speak and how strong men behave. I'm not speaking to you as a weak wimp who is so scared that you would not vote for the party, lest if I say things you don't like, you wouldn't vote for me, so I have to really butter up to you. It is not going to happen. Guyana needs strong men, not men who whimper and cower and run away. Our country is broken because the PPP would have, in many cases, terrorized males, emasculated men, make you like boys. Bark could shout you got to run. You remember Edgel? Edgel, sit down. And the grown man in a crowd has to turn, okay, boss, and shut his mouth. Men who are so tough, not like little boys chasing his coattail. We need to have a country where men are strong. And you're free to talk like me. What nonsense are you behaving? You're grown men. Why are you bound to this man, Barrett, and Barrett got you like some little boys around the place? We need to have a leader or leaders, males, who can rise and tell men, be man, be manly, be masculine, be courageous. If you don't agree with me, say I don't agree with you, and let's move on. I have a friend who always tells me the story. He said what he got mad one time with something with Burnham. He said, I don't want this trophy. I was a sportsman. And he said, I don't want it. And they said, well, the president is here and you have to. He said, I'm not taking any trophy. A young boy. Burnham sent for him, went to him, and Burnham said to him, we need you in the PNC. You hear that? He didn't say how Barrett would say, lock him up, jail him. Burnham went to that young man and said, we need you. We need you. You could come and be a part of us right now. Why? Because Burnham saw in that young man strength. Barrett would send the police to arrest him because he talked to me too hard. I'm talking to you out there as a father. Be strong as men. Protect our women. Protect our sisters. Defend the rights of your children. Don't be weak. How do you have Susan Rodriguez sitting in this group, admitting that she's homosexual, and her party accepts her? Then you talk about discrimination. Guyanese continue to pay her salary, but she's being discriminated against. How does that make any sense to you? But you're saying that I should not be a prime ministerial candidate because I'm against homosexuality. So let me get this straight. The only people who must serve you potentially in the House of Assembly are those who agree with you. Is that freedom of speech? Is that freedom of expression? Is that the right to have a different view? Is that the right to be Guyanese? If one group would tell you, if you don't support buggery, you cannot be in the parliament. So hold on a minute. Do we have the right as Guyanese to disagree? So who controls the society? Are you telling me that the only people who can control the affairs of this nation, govern the affairs of this nation, and manage the affairs of our nation are those who support homosexuals? So this has to be a case whereby we must frame a new law. And this new law must be that you have to support homosexuals before you could go to the House of Assembly. Maybe that should be added to the Constitution too. Well, Barrett said to y'all, and I know he listens to me. So Barrett said here, we're not supporting same-sex marriage. So Barrett should not serve as vice president then. And he's not the vice president in the first place. He's not the vice president. He's and I don't know what portfolio he holds as a minister either. I am not going to be a political leader or one who is in this campaign lying to you. I am not doing it. Under no circumstance will I lie to you and say to you, oh yes, we should repeal buggery laws and you know we should promote homosexual marriages and we should promote them, and I go to the power of children in a minute. We should promote all of these things just because you want to vote for me. I am not doing it. So if that's bad for politics, let me leave now. I am not going to do it. I'm not going to lie to you. It is disgusting to see politicians do this, and I'm not doing it. We could disagree. I don't have a problem with that. Y'all could disagree with me as you do. I don't have an issue with that. You call me evil, I don't mind. Say I'm hateful, I don't mind either. It's your right to say what you want. I never took you to court for saying the thing you said about me, because I wouldn't do it. It's your right to do it. We have a law in this country. In the Constitution, it prohibits anyone from being treated inhumanely. It's already there. So what more you have to add? The Constitution is clear. No Guyanese should be treated inhumanely. Please tell me, what else do you need? It's like the cybercrime nonsense. The law of Guyana prohibits you slandering a person. You're not supposed to say things to people about people that are untrue and dangerous, defaming them. The law is there. You cannot be libelous, where you write something that is untrue or false, again, defaming someone. What do you need cybercrime law for? Why? Cyberbullying or whatever you call it. The law is already there. Just apply it. The law of this country is clear. No Guyanese is supposed to be ill-treated. No Guyanese is supposed to be treated inhumanely. It didn't say based on sexual orientation. It's clear. But yet, somebody wants to be so significant that you have to add to what is already there. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Stop being a slave as a politician. Stop your nonsense. If you don't agree with them, say I don't agree with you all. Don't lie to people. And then 5 years pass and they do nothing. You know why? Because they don't agree with your behavior. But they want to say what sounds good, so Obama could say yes to you good, or Biden could say yes to you good, or Trump could say yes to you good. I'm telling you all, I'm not going to lie to you. I am not going to lie to you. I'm a grown man. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'm Guyanese. I was asked I didn't get up one morning and say, listen, I need to be a politician. I need to serve in anything. People have been bombarding me for years, and the evidence is there. Apostle, we need you to serve us. We need you to represent us. We need you in parliament. We need you. That's what they've said. I never asked for it. And I came and told you that, okay, based on what was requested, based on what my father told me more than anybody else. When my father said to me that I should do the responsible thing, and if people are asking you to represent them, son, do not devalue that. You should do it. This is what my father said to me, which is why I'm here. My brothers in the faith have said to me that, Apostle, you should do this because people are requesting it. Take a righteous stance. You represent strength, you don't represent weakness. That's what Guyana maybe needs at this time. And I'm humbled. So the fact that you people can say to me that, listen, you don't expect me or for Guyana movement to be, because of my face apparently, supporting this, I am humbled to know that you can repose within us at least some degree of listen, we need somebody who can be at least willing to say what is right, which is not that we're against homosexuality. I'm not saying that in reference to what we should say, because in the church, but in reference to the political environment, we are saying to you plainly, Guyanese have a right to approach the court for us to have referendum or approach the leaders. We should have referendum on the matter. Let's vote on the matter. Simple. Because this is what, or before I go there, why would a political leader believe in his or her heart that it's acceptable to lie to homosexuals just to get them to support you? And then when you elect them, they leave you all on your own. Why is that acceptable? Is it not better for me to tell you I don't support your behavior, but you have the right to function as a Guyanese? What do you all prefer as homosexuals? Y'all tell me straight. Now listen, you're liable to anything, but be honest with me. What do you prefer to be the role played by a leader? One who will lie to you and tell you, listen, we will repeal the laws, and then for 5 years they do nothing. Or would you not prefer one who tells you, listen, I don't agree with your behavior, but we have to function in this space or this home or this house called Guyana? So what I would recommend, which I did, is for us to go to the population and have the population vote on this matter. Which one do you prefer? Tell me the truth this morning. Which leader do you prefer? One who will lie to you? Or one who will tell you honestly that we should vote on this matter and put it to rest? The machinery is there. Let's employ the same. What do you prefer, please? Tell me what you prefer. Now, let me share this with you all. If Guyana votes tomorrow, that listen, while I'm Prime Minister, we want men to be married to men, I'll resign. You know why? Because I'm honest. I'm not going to take your money and enjoy the privilege of being a Prime Minister according to how people see it, just for the benefits, while I disagree with it. No, I shall resign and have somebody who supports your behavior serve you. That's how honest I am. If Guyana votes tomorrow that those who sell cocaine and damage our children's brain and kill them should be made heroes and should be free to sell it and kill people, I shall resign, because you don't kill people, children in this country, and I support you. If Guyana votes tomorrow that it's okay for a man to kick his wife down the stairs and rape little girls and be considered a hero and go to parliament, it's acceptable, I will resign, because I'm not going to serve a nation that supports men beating up women. You get the point yet? I am not going to be in any position whereby just because of monetary gain or societal power, I sit in a seat with my conscience being snaked. I am not doing it. I'm not doing it. What has happened to you is that politicians need so much power because they can't function outside of political space. I don't have the problem. I don't need politics to make money. Barajali cannot tell you he was wealthy before he became politician. Susan Rodriguez cannot tell you she was wealthy before she became. She was married to Johnny B, but I know what happened after they got divorced. But she cannot tell you the wealth she has now, she got it before politics. Irfan definitely can't say that. So do you see the point? There's some people in this country who only through politics gain wealth. I don't have that problem. I was never born into poverty. I don't have an issue with money. So you don't find me being one who chases after power to get money. I am responsible for people's lives as a spiritual leader, and I don't play with that. Now we'll get it right. We can get it right in this country. Believe me, I tell you that. We will get it right. Because you will have at least political leaders in for Ghana movement who allow you to be Guyanese again, to be free again, to be strong again, to express yourself as I'm doing freely. Nobody come and lock you because you said what you said. But those greedy, sick, evil politicians who will lie to you just to get your vote, I don't play that game. You saw on nomination day, one of the most popular homosexuals stood 2 persons away from me in the same tent, wearing Forward Ghana Movement shirt. Duh! Now, how? No, there was no other in the crowds showing off or being there. A homosexual, very popular, stood right in the same tent as I was when we were being interviewed and said, Forward Ghana Movement. He was right beside me. Did you see me say, let him come and testify whether I treat him badly? Come and talk. No, because this is not an environment whereby I'm saying to you that because of my religious beliefs, I cannot function again among these people. The scripture church tells you that I'll have to be taken out of the earth to avoid people who don't live like me. You work among them. You walk among them. They may be your neighbor, they may be in your house. But I don't have to accept your behavior. So here's my question to you all Guyanese. And please answer it for my sake. You could do it, post it on your page, just post it for my sake. Should I serve or continue to be the prime ministerial candidate for Forward Ghana Movement because of my position? Please put it out there. You could say Nigel London should leave FGM or Nigel London should remain the PM candidate. Just put it, should I leave? I'm telling you all, there is no angel from heaven because the Bible speaks of that as well. If an angel comes down to tell you another gospel, the Bible says don't listen to him. Sometimes scripture says there's no devil in hell. There's no man or woman on earth who can make me stay in any office, any position, anywhere. If you tell me that I have to accept what I don't agree to. Should I remain as the PM candidate, or does my position offend you so much that I should resign? Please tell me and I'll do it. Let's make this simple. So you could type on your page, Nigel London should remain PM candidate, or Nigel London should leave. We'll do a poll. And based on that poll, we'll function because I believe in democracy before elections. I told you that long ago. I believe in democracy before elections. Democracy is not about elections. Democracy is about people governing all of the time. I'm not going to stand here and lie to you all. Why must I stand and lie to you just for you to vote for me? I'm not doing it. And I'm saying it with absolute passion. I am not going to be a lying politician. I'm not doing it. I don't play that stupid game. I'm not doing it with you. Do I agree with Joel Simpson, for example? No. But can Joel Simpson come and sit with me and have a conversation about maybe how he feels about what I do? Yes, it's his right to do so. What part that you don't understand? It is his right to do it. He's a Guyanese, and if I'm serving and he's a taxpayer, I have to serve every Guyanese. It doesn't mean I'm going to say to him, listen, I accept what you do. No. So let's make it clear. Now, this is where I'll speak to Amir or whoever it is behind Sheriff. We talk to you. Because the day after they came, of course, they have to use it in election, try to dig dirt. And the dirt that you'll find on me is that I spoke against homosexuality. Now, how imagine the dirt that you find is that I'm against homosexuality. So London is bad for politics because they against homosexual behavior. That is the dirt. London, not that I thief church money, not that I killed somebody, not that I smuggled gold, I smuggled diamond, I smuggled marijuana, not that I'm some sodomite or whatever it is you want to call me. No, what's the problem? London is against homosexuality. And then they took a clip. They took a video, a part of video. So stupid, so asinine, imbecilic. Where now you want to attack my position as a preacher. Now, once you do that, I'll respond to you. Because I represent Yeshua the Messiah. And if you want to engage me in a spiritual conversation, I will surely engage you at any forum, anywhere. So this on your screen is what's in the Bible. And I don't normally use King James Version because I don't subscribe to what it is. Nobody can change people's name and get away with it because they don't change my name. And King James didn't change his name either. His name remained James. Now, look at this. Please, somebody, look, it's in the Bible. If a man lie with mankind, as he lieth, that's Old English, with woman, both of them have committed an abomination, and they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Now, let me ask my intelligent Guyanese the question. Did I say it, or the scripture that the churches in Guyana subscribe to say this? That's the Old Testament, by the way. So let me ask you the common sense question here. If I show you what the Bible states, in the Old Testament that is, did I say it, or did the scripture say it? So Amir, or whoever's behind Sheriff said, London said homosexuals should be killed. You are so stupid. It's painful, it's nauseating. How could anybody in their right mind say to someone that you can't read the Bible either? Because if you read the Bible, you can't be prime minister. And you cannot serve, but Egil is bishop. So ask Egil. You'll ask Egil if the Bible says what I just showed you. What gave birth to that video clip you saw? The homosexuals had said, I didn't say it. Of course, they don't know the name of the Messiah. So they said, Jesus wouldn't do what you do. And Jesus loved homosexuals. That's what they said. And they said, Jesus never saw it. I went on television and said to them, okay, since you want to raise this matter, I'll respond to you because you asked a question. They said, would Jesus have done that? Now, what did Yeshua do? So I went to them and spoke to it. First of all, the scripture states that he came to fulfill, said he, the law, which means to complete it. He didn't come to he didn't come to abolish it. He didn't come to repeal it. He came to fulfill what you read this called the law. So you even heard in the video clip I said that was in the law. Okay, good. Now, what did I say to them? I said that when Yeshua would have been here on the earth, he didn't have an issue with homosexual matters because those homosexuals, according to what you saw in scripture, they were stoned to death. It is written there. I didn't say it. It's written there. The moronic, imbecilic sheriff group decided that London say homosexuals should be stoned to death. And people took it and ran with it. But Bart is smart. Bart didn't say that. So he didn't grab that face news press conference yesterday. Because Bart has more sense. I credit him with that. He's not very stupid. Because Edgy told him, don't do that. You know, Edgy may say, boss, that's the law. In reference to scriptural law. I didn't say the law should be changed to kill the homosexuals. And if I speak in my private capacity as an ordinary citizen, it is my right to do so. When homosexuals call me pedophile, Guyanese homosexuals, when homosexuals said that I am a closeted gay, when they said that I'm a deportee, when they said that I was in a hotel with some homosexual, Delroy, somebody named Delroy, said that I was in a hotel with him. And Simpson said he's waiting in the office to get the receipts. Of course, 7 years have passed and the receipts can't come yet. I didn't go to court. I didn't go to the police and say these people have been defaming me. I didn't go to the judge and say I'm afraid because it is telling lies against me. I said it is your right to say what you want. Do you see the difference? So these people could say things about me. But when I say that I don't agree with them, I should be prime minister. I cannot be prime minister because I'm against the behavior. That is hypocritical. And that should not be condoned in Guyana. You're not going to strong arm and try to bully me of all people. Or anyone in this country. So if I were to be prime minister, I will tell you straight that you will not do this. You cannot attack people and they can't attack you as well. If you want us to live in a harmonious environment, then you stop and they'll stop too. You don't have the luxury to attack people, but they can't do it back to you. Do unto others as you'll have them do to you. That is supposed to be the golden rule. So they had the right to defame me. I didn't defame them. I said I don't agree with your behavior, which is worse. And I'm saying to you now that though I don't agree with your behavior, if I were to be prime minister, I will have to, because I'm a responsible person, ensure that you treat it in reference to your rights as Guyanese in accordance with the law. As long as you don't break the law, you're good. Who controls values? Let's have some philosophical conversations now. Who controls values? Let me tell you why I'm saying that. If someone were to say that what two men do in the privacy of their home is their business, then if I want to bake cocaine in the privacy of my home, it's my business. Why would Kanu kick my door down? Is it not my business? If you could do your homosexual acts in the privacy of your home, and it's your business, it should not be called criminal. What is the problem if somebody bake cocaine in their house? What makes it criminal? If I plant marijuana in my yard, what makes it criminal? If I have a greenhouse somewhere in my house, nobody can see it. Why would Kanu kick down my door for marijuana, but they can't kick your door down for burglary? You see, these are the uncomfortable conversations that you don't like to have because it's the truth and it makes you uncomfortable. I'm not speaking to homosexuals, I'm speaking to people in general. You become uncomfortable with the truth. Who governs what is of value to a person? So if planting marijuana is valuable to me, don't tell me homosexuality is more important because I don't care about it. I'm just speaking in general as a person. I may say I want to plant weed. That's what's valuable to me. And it's the Rasta's religion to deal with it. And they've been discriminated against because of the religion. That is what y'all should talk about. The only group in our nation who's being victimized, religious persecution of Rastafarians. And y'all ain't talking about that. We don't tell the Catholic Church how many candles they can burn. We don't tell anybody how loud they can clap. They don't tell me how loud they can play music in church and sing. So why are you telling them how many plants they can plant for religious purposes? It is nonsense. You should not discriminate against anybody because of their religious belief. Oh, so buggery is more important than Rastafarianism? Who determines what is of value? Somebody may say that they want to be a pedophile and it's valuable to them. Who determines value? That is why you have what is called law. Law is meant to prevent what is called autocracy or anarchy, where everybody is a law to themselves. That's confusion. It shouldn't happen in the country. That's why laws have been framed and formed and fashioned. Laws are enacted to prevent anarchy. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Free yourself, Guyanese. You have the right to independence of thought. It is your right as a Guyanese to think for yourself, to express what you think. Now, this is where I draw the line. In Sassad's manifesto, it says, develop and implement a clear policy to end all forms of violence and discrimination, especially bullying based on sexuality and gender in the school system by the end of 2026. In the school system, no age, no range. They didn't say in grade 11 or grade 12. In the school system. We talk about sexuality and gender. In the school system. As far as we're aware, Sassad is speaking, there is no clear education policy. Our 7th priority area is to train education officials, school administrators, teachers, and social workers in schools as part of a comprehensive anti-bullying program that is inclusive of LGBTQIA issues. He said, Simpson, for LGBTQIA students, schools should play a positive role in promoting adolescent health by eliminating bullying, discrimination, and all forms of abuse targeting them. How do we get to children? And let me show my face, please. Because it speaks to adolescent. Adolescent. What's an adolescent? Thank you for asking. I present it to you on the screen. What's an adolescent age? 10 years old to 19. 10 years old. And that's according to WHO. An adolescent is any person between ages 10 and 19. 10 years old. Y'all listen to me. If Forward Ghana movement, of which I'm a prime minister candidate, ever tells me that this is acceptable, you don't have to wonder what I'll do. Any Guyanese who tells me, even if I'm prime minister, that this is what y'all want, I shall resign and go to fight tooth and nail to protect our children. This, listen to me, you are not going to go into any school to sexualize or encourage sexual behaviors among any children. They're in school not to learn about no sex and sexual activity. Guyanese, don't play with this. Do not, I'm telling y'all, don't cross that line with me under any circumstance. Whether I'm a preacher, I'm a prime minister, I'm president, I'm a lawyer, doctor, I don't care where I am in society. You are not going to tell me that any straight, bend, undulating, circular, anyone is going to encourage sexual behaviors among our children. Don't do it. Do not do it. This is not about politics with me here. There's certain lines I don't play with. There are certain lines that I don't play with. What does a 10-year-old boy or girl need to hear about who you should have sex with? What do they need to be doing with that nonsense? Listen to me. Guyanese of all walks of life, church leaders, imams, pundits, atheists, whatever you are, don't ever tell me that you, because of politics and wanting to be elected, you could accept this nonsense. Susan Rodriguez, your mother. Are we saying to our children that their well-being is a bargaining chip? So you're prepared to put that on the line just so you can be elected? Count me out. If you do this, count me out today. Right now. I am a father of a 9-year-old boy. Which man could tell me that my son should hear him talk about having sex with a man or a boy? And they should be training. They should be training to train somebody how to protect a child in reference to sexuality. Where are we going with this nonsense? Y'all listen to me. Listen. Guyanese, I submit to you that there is no political office, there is no public office, there is no societal rank or position that is more important to me than the children of our nation. The children of our nation shall be protected even with my life. Y'all stop. As much as I don't agree with your adults doing it, we could talk, and I tell you, I'll go to referendum. Let the country decide. But don't you dare tell me anything about children. We ain't playing that. We are not going down that road at any cost. Now, if that is bad for politics, if I'm going to be fired from Ford Ghana movement, they strip me from being prime minister candidate, do it. But I'm not tolerating this nonsense. And I can assure you that the confidence I have in Amanza Walton Desir as a sister of mine, in reference to Guyanese, I would be shocked if ever even a hint would be that she supposes. I could tell you all now, I don't do this, but I could put, as Guyanese say, my neck on a block that my sister and Darwin Best would never, ever, ever, and any leader of Fargan would never tell me or tell us as Guyanese that they are okay with this going to children. Never. Never. Which is why I'm there, because if they said that, I'd be gone a long time ago. You all don't do this. This is a non-negotiable. If this can spoil the whole political party, let it spoil it. Because I ain't playing with this. I am not playing with our children. Don't come to tell me this foolishness here. Let me put it on the screen again. If you all do this, listen to me, homosexual, we can have a sensible conversation. We can have a politically healthy conversation. We can appear to be quite poised and everything else. Fine, diplomatic, no problem. But the minute you see you all come to tell me, but this foolishness here, you'll see the other side of me. So don't do it. Don't come to me to tell me that as far as we're aware, there is no clear policy. Well, where is it? Oh, develop and implement a clear policy to end all forms of violence and discrimination, especially bullying based on sexuality. Y'all have to be crazy. You have to be joking. You cannot be serious. And you speak to adolescents, you speak to 10-year-olds, you cannot be serious. Y'all are not serious. You are not serious. What teacher could send a note to me saying, Mr. London, today at school or tomorrow, LGBT or SAS, whatever it is, are coming to school to speak to your son, to marvel us about sexual behaviors among boys. Which one of y'all want to send me that text message? What is wrong with you people? Our children are in school to be educated and able to function in the secular world. They are not in school to speak to which boy must have sex with another boy and how a boy must feel towards another boy or a girl towards a girl. Y'all don't do it. Even in reference to heterosexual behaviors, our children are not in school to be taught about that in reference to acceptable behavior. So there's no protecting anybody here. Guyanese, I am asking you, Sasa, I'm asking for the sake of our nation's well-being. Listen to me. Y'all don't play this game because it would not end well for me and you. Don't do it. Do not do it. It would not end well between me and y'all because I don't care who says what. You are not going to talk to any child, 10 years old, 10 years old, and you want to start talking about sexuality? Y'all, listen, you need to stop. So I submit to you all, Guyanese, as I close. Before I close, let me do this. Let me do this because Irfan needs to deal with this. Before I close, let me show you certain things that Irfan doesn't want to touch with y'all, but I'll make him do it. Is it this one? Ah, good. Here's it. So I asked a question. Which countries? You remember Irfan Tabagano would be Little Dubai, and Irfan is really, I don't want to say the word, but Irfan panders to. Remember when the guy from, I think it's one of the Arabian states came, Irfan put on his garb and want to be a sheikh? Right. So I asked the question, y'all look at it here. Which countries enforce the death penalty? Ghana doesn't do that for homosexuality. Number one on the list, Saudi Arabia. Irfan is Muslim. Saudi Arabia is an Islamic state. The Wahhabi interpretation of Sharia law in Saudi Arabia maintains that acts of homosexuality should be disciplined in the same way as adultery, which is death by stoning. Irfan, we're waiting for you to talk, Irfan. Let's see here again. Iran. Irfan, in Iran, it's illegal. And there's severe punishment, including flogging and death. Death penalty. Irfan, it's an Islamic state. Let me show you what happened, Irfan. In January 2022, when you were in power, as you call it, 3 men were decapitated in Saudi Arabia. Decapitated in Saudi Arabia after being convicted of sodomy, same-sex marriage, and incitement to pedophilia, as per the Saudi Ministry of Interior. Irfan, so why don't you say, because you, Irfan Ali, engaged this minister, you engaged them to have relationship with them in terms of Guyana and Guyana. International relations, Irfan. So a country where men are being killed for being homosexuals, you want to engage them, and Sasa can't condemn you, but you can come after me and speak to me? In Asia, I asked the question for a particular reason. Which countries in Asia? Which countries in Asia have this position? Let me help you, Irfan Ali. Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Brunei, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Lebanon, Malaysia, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Turkmenistan, UAE, Uzbekistan. You know why? Because they're Islamic nations. Sassad, you are led by a Muslim. Asdin Muhammad is also Muslim. Can you please tell me what are their views on this matter? Would they deny Quran and Hadith? And would they condemn those nations? Irfan needs to condemn Saudi Arabia. For your sake, tell him to condemn Saudi Arabia, please. Let's see how that goes. Where did he buy the remember the middleman who came, the minister at large, they made him recently? You all don't know the minister at large, who does business on behalf of the PPP in Arabia? Ask if I'm about that fella. And I'll expose it soon, don't worry. You all come and talk now. Ask Azuddin Mohammed and ask Irfan Ali, what is their stance in this behavior? And let them condemn Saudi Arabia. They must condemn Iraq. They must condemn Iran, as a matter of fact. They must condemn all of the Islamic nations because they're against homosexuality and they kill homosexuals. You all do that, then come back to me. When you do that, get back to me. When the PPP, Irfan Ali, does that, or Azuddin Mohammed does that, you can come back to me. Because I have never said that. I said that in the Old Testament, way back, that's what was done. The church doesn't do it to you. But there are nations as we live and breathe who still do it. And if I can't condemn them, let me tell you all why. With that said, I thank you for your time. And I appreciate the moment we spent together. Please remember that before there was forward Ghana movement, there was the right to think and the right to be an individual. And now that there is forward Ghana movement, that right is being encouraged. That right, unlike most other parties, even within our leadership, that right is on display, where somebody could have a view and another has a different view. And we're still brothers, we're still Guyanese, we're still loving each other. That's a healthy system. That's a coalition of independent thinkers. I think that would serve Ghana very well. Until Irfan Ali and Sasa can condemn those nations, don't speak to me about anything. I conclude. Until you can condemn Susan Rodriguez, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Iran, and all other Islamic nations, don't speak to me. Thank you.